Since there's an amazing array of large guns on this particular small island in Norway, I wanted to show you a few of them before we get to the big ones, and a little story of a ship, and some more guns. This is an American 76mm cannon that was used for coastal defense. This was produced in large numbers. And this is a really interesting piece of equipment. It is a loading training gun, which means it's not really a gun, it's where you would practice loading quickly. Especially when you were trying to aim for that magic 5-6 shots a minute. This is how you would load, train, and eject. Bofors. And these guns are in beautiful shape. I'm glad they made a little museum down here to show them, because many of these I didn't even think were still in existence. $12.7, okay. Where is it?
Here.
Oh yeah.
And it's very common in person. It was
So Skoda 15?
yeah. It is
Czech-made gun by Skoda Werke for the German military, made during the Second World War. This was in time when Skoda made some incredible weapons. It is still saddens me a little bit that today they only make cars.
yes. It was produced in 1943.
1943,
It
wow.
was mass production.
Where did it go?
In 1959 to Norge.
And a Krupp gun. Makes you wonder if a Krupp 15cm cannon and a Rheinmetall 15cm cannon would be able to load the same shells. Knowing the Germans, probably not. Another 15cm Rheinmetall. Oh, this is Krupp 1942. This is a little better than World War I. What I'm really excited about seeing here is something I did not know existed. It is one of the twin guns for the Graff Zeppelin. And that I will one day do a real long special about. Here's a short story. In 1933, already then the German Navy was looking into building an aircraft carrier. First draft was of one 22,000 tons, holding 50 aircraft at a speed of 34 knots. They were, by the naval treaty, allowed to build one of up to 38,500 tons, but instead they reduced the size and planned for two carriers, each of 19,250 tons. Hitler announced this to be done in 1935, and officers were even sent to Japan to look at their carrier, the Akagi, and obtain plans and suggestions. The keel to the first carrier was laid in 1936, and already from 1937 the Luftwaffe began training pilots for the ship, although Göring was not at all enthusiastic about letting anybody else than his Luftwaffe fly about the skies of Europe. The ship launched off the slipway in December 1938, and was still incomplete by war's beginning in 1940. And then the strategic situation had changed a lot, and work stopped on the ship. She was placed in storage, as in function in Gdynia, Poland for several years, during a period where it was becoming increasingly clear that ships and carriers were extremely vulnerable in modern warfare, and might not have a place in the European theater for the Germans at all. Her primary anti-shipping armament consisted of 16 15cm SKC-28 guns, paired in 8 armored casemates. But now, as Germany had acquired a lot of new oceanfront property to protect, the finishing of the ship was halted. These could be repositioned as coastal defense guns around Scandinavia. Now, there's a lot of interesting facts and details to tell about this ship, and one day, soon, I will do a special on it, since I have a bit of a soft spot for this ship. But needless to say, she did not survive long after war's end. So to actually find one of her original turrets here is absolutely amazing. And here she sits for all to see.
And on display here, there's undoubtedly one of my favorite guns, because it belonged to my most favorite German ship, the Graff Zeppelin. 15-centimeter naval gun for the German aircraft carrier that never came into being. The poor aircraft carrier had loads of problems. First of all, Goering didn't want to give it any planes, and eventually it was commandeered by the Russians to ship war booty back to Russia, whereafter it was used as a target ship. So this is one of the few surviving parts of the German aircraft carrier. This must make it a favorite of mine. Dual 15. I am inside something that I thought absolutely did not exist, or even a bit of existed anymore. The German aircraft carrier program consisted of the Graff Zeppelin. It was never launched for a number of reasons. This is one of the guns that should have been installed, that was constructed in 1940 for the ship. Eventually it made its way to Norway as a coastal battery, but this dual 15-centimeter cannon belonged to the poor Graff Zeppelin that had such a sad journey to nowhere.
Now I promise I will do a special on the Graff Zeppelin one day. But for today, it's just guns and a short story.
My name is Tino Struckmann. I run Lost Battlefields. Every year, I travel around the world to try to bring you to all the most interesting historical military locations from modern wars and the World War II special projects, battlefields, forts, fortresses, and tunnels, everything else. Things you may not be able to see or go to yourselves. Please join me on Patreon or join Lost Battlefields through the website so you get access to all my files and my notes. It really does help, and like, follow, share here on the channel if you can. That helps too.